Good morning, H again, coming at you with a tutorial video for Autodesk Inventor 2023. We spent some time looking at some part files and the drawings. We're going to continue that today with specific attention paid to a couple of tools, one known as trim and also the slot drawing tool to draw slots. We're going to be looking at those ideas as we create a part file known as side bracket 2-7. So this is going to be the part file we're going to be looking at right here. Let me bring this on over. And so this is what it looks like here. Again, we have our front view, our top view, and our isometric three-dimensional view in the upper right-hand corner. So this is a typical 3-view drawing, minus the right side view that's right here. That would be right here where my mouse cursor is currently. So as we look at this part, again, we have to take inventory as far as what gives us the most information, right? The most information for the parts files that we start with, as we're just kind of learning our way through the software, the most information is always given to us in the front of our front view of our drawing here, right? So this is what we're going to replicate. We're going to create the outside perimeter and then work on the interior features after that. So that's our methodology. That's what we're going to keep going with. That's what we're going to keep doing. And so as we move through this, we're going to do this part, especially these outside curves here, this radius of one that's here, and then this radius of one that's here, these outside curves. We're going to do these in two different methods in this video to show you the different methodologies that exist. And again, a lot of times there's no real wrong method unless you get the wrong result, right? So use a methodology that makes sense to you, that you're effective with, that you can have some mastery over, and you should be good. So as we move forward, that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on making this part file here. So let me slide this over and I'll look at that in my other monitor here as we move forward to create this part. This is an inches part file. So we go to our English measurement imperial system, our standard inches part. We're going to create that. And here we have, again, our 3D environment, our model browser here, tabs, and our ribbon. So we'll start our sketch again on the XY plane, since that is the front plane of the part file, and we are replicating and drawing the front view. We're going to start at 0, 0 here in the corner, and I'm going to move that so it is more reflective of drawing in this first quadrant of the grid, right? So our 0, 0 is here, and then x-axis, y-axis, and we're going to be drawing up in this area. Starting with our line tool, we're going to make a line that comes across the bottom here. This line is a horizontal line that is the bell there. That is a horizontal line that is going to be 5 inches across. You know, see how it went off of our screen? We can hit our front cube and be able to see that going now the whole distance and be able to like tell where that is now. Then we have a line that's going to be going up this way. Now we're not given this measurement. We do not have this measurement at all, but we are given a height to where a circle is, right? So we can actually finish that line there. I just right click and went to OK to just kind of finish the tool to clear it out. And we're going to draw on this particular one, we're going to draw a circle on this side. We're going to use the circle tool and trim and do this right side outside edge a specific way, and then redo the other side edge in another way. So we're going to make our circle a diameter of 2, since it has a radius of 1. And notice that this dot right there has a dotted line going down to the end of the line. That location is this endpoint of this line lines up with the endpoint of this line here, or this dot of the circle. They line up with each other. The other way to do this is just to dimension it this point to our 0, 0 mark, 5, hit OK. One more dimension is needed, which is our height, again, from the center of our circle to our axis right here. This height is also given to us as 2.5. So again, we have to hit our front view, kind of expand out our view as we continue to add components and entities We have to expand our viewpoint so that we can see the entire fully constrained sketch, and we can kind of move and adjust to how we're viewing that. Right now, we have the height of this circle. We now could actually draw this line in there. Right, we could draw. I move this up here so that way this line doesn't interfere with what we're seeing. There's no line here currently. If I have this down here, it looks like there's a line, but that's actually the dimension line of this 5 of this center of the circle away from the origin point. So if I move this away, you can see like there is no line there. So we're going to draw a line now there, because we can go from this line, green dot, to just right here, right there. Hitting that circle, and that's where that's where it ended. That's where the circle ended. We know that this line is correct and still fully constrained because we knew the circle height and we knew the radius of the circle was 1. So really, this line here should be 1.5 because we have 2.5 height minus 1 inch of the radius of the circle. So this should be the 1.5, which we can double check. There it is. I'm not going to put that in there because again, it's going to give us a driven dimension. And that's what it would look like, but we don't need that in there. We're good, right? So now we're looking at continuing on this journey here. And what we have next is a line that's coming out, lined up with the center point of the circle. See this dotted line that kind of moves out with our mouse cursor. We get to this point here. Now we're going up. Now we're going up in this direction here, and we're not given a specific length of this line at this point, but we are given some other dimensions. We are giving the total height of this part is 4 inches, and to the center point of the circle is 2.5. So the dimension of this line is 4 minus the 2.5 that we've already gone up on the y-axis. So I can hit enter. Now notice a couple of symbols here that appear. There's a symbol of the vertical constraint, and then there's this small one here. This is a tangent constraint symbol. This line is coming off tangent from the circle. That's a good thing. In this instance, we're okay. We'll hit enter, and that is our line that goes vertically. Now we have a line that's going to be coming back this other way, and we know this line is 0.5. And we have a line that's coming down. We know that this line is also 0.5. We have another line that's coming back again horizontally. This line is 2. And now we kind of go back up again 0.5, kind of a little a step ladder situation. And that's 0.5. And then we have this line that comes down to here, right? And we're going to do this other side a different way. This other like circle, this other arch that's on the opposite side here. So we know that this line comes down all the way to this here. We can see that dotted line appears right there, right? So we have a total height of 4 minus the 1.5. That gives us that length. And we can come back to this point here of 1, need a 1. And then we come back down to origin. All right, so we drew a lot of lines there. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of dimensions kind of in our way. Let's clean this up a little bit. Let's get kind of organized here and figure out where we need to go and what we need to do. Okay, so here's our outside perimeter that we've been working on, right? So we drew a circle here. So we're going to start over here. We drew this circle here. We no longer need this entirety of this circle. We only need this inner curve that's connected to this line here and this line here. So a great tool for that is the trim tool. The trim tool cuts out any intersecting curve, or in this case, a curve could be a line or a curve, right? And so you selected any kind of selected curve, selected line, anything, lines intersecting each other, touching at an intersection point, you can remove sections of lines and curves. So I'm going to get the trim tool. It looks like a nice little pair of scissors. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to come to the circle. Now the dotted line here that is appearing, this is what we're cutting. But when we check and use the trim tool, we always check to see like what is it actually cutting. And it's the dotted section, the little line section here. It's white and red here, and it's going to leave the red only curve. If I move down to this curve, notice it's doing the opposite, right? Because it's only selecting what the line segment or the curve that is between the two intersecting points. of whatever other entity connects at those points to this specific curve, right? So this section of the curve, this would be cut out because it's dotted, while the other red section would be left. We want it this way. We want to cut out the larger section. So I'm going to click on trim, and there it is. It trimmed that away, leaving the curve we needed. I can right click, click OK. I'm good to go. I'm fully constrained still, which is fantastic. Now, this one over here, we do this a little bit differently. We didn't pre-draw the circle. But in this instance, we want to use a very, very common tool, a very, very important tool that's used throughout drawing, and that is the fillet tool right here. Now, this places an arc of a specific radius at the corner or intersection of two lines. So you can see the preview there. You have two lines that are red. It's going to turn that into an arc rather than a corner with a radius of 2 in this instance for this particular picture. So you just select the two lines, boom, you got yourself a filleted corner, a rounded off corner, turning corners into rounds. And that's how the fillet tool works. So if I click on the fillet tool, it gives us this tiny little window here. And this is just the radius of the fillet. What is the radius of the fillet? In this case, we know it is 1 inch. We come down here to our lines here and see it's kind of previewing it already. I've already clicked one line. Click on the other one. There it is. We can close that window out. There is our filleted line. So again, these are two methodologies that work completely fine in this situation. Again, it's whatever one you choose to master and use regularly. Get experience with it, get expertise in it, and use it as it results in the same thing. Right. So that is our outside perimeter. That is done. Now we're looking at the interior structure of this. And we got to have a slot tool that's here. The slot tool is actually underneath a rectangle tool. We have a slot tool center to center, right? So how this works is we have 2 mouse clicks, which will define the internal center line. And then we'll define the width or the diameter of the radius, the diameter of the arcs itself. So slot center to center. I'm going to click once over here somewhere. Let's see if I can define a neutral spot. There it is. Now this here, according to our drawing that I'm looking at, is 2. Right? So that dotted line that's in the middle of this entire shape, that length from the center point of one arc to the center point of the other, again, slot tool center to center, that distance is 2. Now this overall width is where it gets tricky. Sometimes it gives us dimension and radius, sometimes it gives it in diameter. So be careful what your drawing says. The drawing here says radius of 0.5, which means the diameter of this is 1. So we need to hit 1 and hit enter. And that gives us our dimensions of 2. It gives us the width of this is 1. We're looking good. Now, just like with a circle tool, we need to have 2 dimensions. We need to know where this slot is in the 3-dimensional space that exists in this software. So we got a dimension. We're going to dimension from this outside edge here to the center point of the circle there, that arch or the half circle that's there. And that's 1.5 inches, 1.5. Then we can actually go from the dimension from the bottom of our part file, the bottom line, to the center line of this slot tool right here. And this is just going to be 1. And that is our fully constrained sketch for this particular part. Again, this was side bracket 2-7. I'm going to finish my sketch and kind of change my view again, a little bit more user-friendly for the extrusion. I'm going to extrude, adding 3D material to the profile, not this profile, but the overall profile of the part file here of 0.5. So a 1/2 inch of material list gets added. We're hitting enter. That is our part file there, our side bracket 2-7. Let's take a look at our mass properties here, eye properties, physical tab, update it. Again, it's 0.210. Hopefully you got that correct. Thank you for joining me. You all have a great day.